Why do you think that it's not as popular as you probably would have liked it to be, the Scandinavian? What's the reason?
Yeah, I think at the very highest levels, black really does have to know their stuff. And there are specific lines that white can target black in the main lines of any Scandinavian. I like the queen takes d5 version, but the knight f6 line as well. So I haven't actually, I should ask a super GM next time I have the privilege of talking to them, but I kind of believe that they look at openings in terms of margin of error, right?
Yeah.
And e4, e5, and various main lines of the Sicilian, you've got a larger margin of error at the highest level compared to the Scandinavian. There's no doubt. But a big reason I like the Scandinavian is, 99.9999% of us are not super GMs. And the practical value of being able to knock out white's center pawn from the jump, because e takes d5 is white's only good move against the Scandinavian, and the experience advantage that Scandinavian players often have, I think that actually supersedes and trumps the high level concerns at the super GM or strong GM level. But yeah, to answer your question, I think they don't fully trust it from a margin of error standpoint.
Can you give some advice to the aspiring Scandinavian players? Like what to focus on mostly? What are the lines that are most challenging for black? And maybe I can get some ideas from that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So again, I like the queen takes d5 lines. There's also knight f6 here on move 2, obviously. But those lines, I think, play more like the Alekhines defense, I've found. So I've always preferred queen takes d5. And, you're going to get most of your games with knight c3. That's the move that white plays about 2/3 of the time or more. And it's actually kind of nice. Like if you're a flexible queen takes d5 Scandinavian player, you could learn 2 or even 3 of the mainline moves after knight c3, which are queen a5, queen d6, and queen d8.
Yeah.
And that makes you a bit unpredictable. Your opponents would have to prepare, multiple systems against those within that major opening. So I would consider actually looking at queen d8 on move 3 in addition to queen a5, because queen d8 is definitely the simplest move to play after queen takes d5, knight c3. But it's also the most passive and probably has the most dubious theoretical reputation.
Well, the most dubious is queen e5 check, even though Shimanov, I think, has been playing it with some success.
Yes, the so-called Potzer variation. You're right. I didn't even include that one. But yeah, that one's also a little dodgy. I would also say definitely pay attention to knight f3 on move 3. Because maybe you'll even play that one. But that, in my very first course that I wrote for Chessable in 2016, I labeled that as underrated. Because even back then, I thought that line was kind of undervalued. The point of that is that by withholding knight c3, white may be looking to play d4 and c4, establish the pawns on d4, c4. Because the reason the queen takes d5 Scandinavian is playable in a nutshell is because when white plays knight c3, although that's a very classical and accepted move by theory, developing a piece with tempo, it blocks the c pawn. That's very important. A lot of people don't realize that, even strong players. It blocks the c pawn, which is a bit of a hindrance to white's later play in those lines. So knight f3 on move 3 is pretty ambitious, actually, because if black plays some lackadaisical moves, white often succeeds in playing d4, c4, and only then later knight c3, and white has all this control of the 5th rank. Definitely don't neglect knight f3 on move 3 if you're black. Also d4 and even c4 on move 3.
c4
You have to know what to do.
Interesting stuff.